You know what they were? My name. I'm still having my body color square boyness.
Yeah, but
yeah, but she do come
I like the everyone's short one.
I play actual work. Did you guys see the video of all those people in America? There's like, do you know how there's like 7 people on the freedom? Yeah, there's like 80. Red. Like, there's not really. And about 80 people. About like 80 people all together at the same time ran across the highway in America and stopped traffic and stuff. To try to chase, like, if it was a mutual, if it was like 2 lanes of highway and another 2 lanes of right in the middle was the mutual. And so, like, they did. It's going to be watching you guys.
Sole representative from Stream,
So they must be all that way. Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, we're going to go. I don't know.
And all your stuff. I think this
Ka te anō rā tēnā no tātou katoa. Re tau ake au ki te tau nei ko rua tipua ko rua tāwhito. Naru i runga, naru i raro, naru tihu tāne ko tōku waka ko tā ki te mu. Re mai te maramara ko ihu nui ko ihu rō ko te āwhi orangi. A ko e ke runga e tū pāwhai e ko hau ko uanuku e tū pāwhai ake ana. Inu mea te kawa tākina te kawa. He kawa tūwā nihi nihi, he kawa tūwā rangaranga te kawa wai ko tā ki te mu. Hui te marama, hui te ora e. Tēnā ko rangi nui e tū iho nei, tēnā ko papatu ānuku e tako tō maira. Nā rāwa heke iho ko te ira atua taino ki a tātou tira tangata. Nā rere aku rangatira ngā tae e whāharuru mai nei ki tēnei taki wā i rungi te kaupapa o te rāto, tō tātou nei anga whakamua. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. He hui ngā tangata he o ki ngā mahara ka tika me mihi atu ki ngā mate huho te wānei. Nā mate huho o te kāinga, nā mate huhua o te ikanui a mau i tiki a taranga, taino ki te wāhi paunamu. Ko rātou ki a rātou, te hunga, ko haere whakatetuke rau ki rungi te ara Wairoa, ki te whāro ne roa tōhe ki ngā wāhi tapu i korā ki waingurunguru ki Maringiroa. Ka whakarere atu rātou ki te rerenga Wairoa ki te reinga, ka kauri atu i te mōna ki manawa tāwhi. Au ki te maunga e tū mai rā ki ohau te tiro whakamuri, haere tonu rātou ki tawhiti nui, ki tawhiti ro, ki tawhiti pāmauma. Me ki rātou e haere pērā i te ranga i māumau ka taki ki tūnuku taurua, e kore amuri rātou e hukia. Ko rātou ki a rātou te hunga ko tiraha, ko tātou ngā maramara o rātou mā ki a tātou, tēnā no tātou katoa. E aku rangatira tēnā koutou me ki ngā whanaunga tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou i rungi te harikoa, ko kite a tātou i te anga whakamua, ke hīkina atu te nohonga o tō tātou nei iwi. Nā reira tēnā koutou whakawāte ana ki te haramai ki tēnei huhuinga. Ki te rongo i ngā kōrero, ki te whakahuange ngā pātai kei rungi a koutou. Kia mōhio mai koutou anei nā whakatikanga, nā whakautunga mo ngā kareme i wainga nui i te rohe pōtai o te Wairoa. Nā reire aku rangatira kāre tēnei mōkoe o koutou hihi te whakatorongi ngā kōrero. Engari ka tika me mihi atu ki a koutou e aku rangatira. Tēnā koutou, huri rauna, tēnā no tātou katoa.
Pine te kura, wana ke te kura, raro te kura nui, ko te kura roa, ko te kura o tawhitina tuhai po. Tēnei te tiraha, tēnei hara mai ne, ko te umurangi nā te whatui a peti, nau mai e tama ki te tai ao ne, kia whakangungu a koe ki te kahi katoa, ki te tūmata kuru, ki te tara o ngā tai rora e ngā hau e kupe i waiho i te ao nei. Peke ake ka ke ake i te toe hua rewa, te ara o tā whaki, peke ai ki runga, i roko i nā tura, mai kuku makaka, hapai o maui, he waha i pā mai, taku wahine purotu, taku tāne purotu, korua ko te tau e.
Tari rāpiti hono tātai hono ko rātou ki a rātou te hunga Wairoa. Rāpiti hono tātai hono ko tātou, ngā maramara o rātou mā ki a tātou. Puri rauna tēnā no tātou katoa. Kia ora.
Kāti kia ora tātou, tēnā tātou e whakarau i nei raro i te tūnui a tēnei tō tātou whare. For those of you who don't know, my name is Tamati Big Mouth Olsen. I've got the biggest mouth, so they put me up the front. I'm the chairperson for Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa. And for today's hui, we've broken today's hui into 3 segments. The first segment's going to require your eyes and your ears as we go through our presentation. The second segment, you're allowed to add your mouth to your eyes and your ears and ask questions, of which we'll answer. And then our third segment, e paku kaikai, e whakaoti atu i tā tātou hui. So our hui should take about an hour, hour and a half at tops. Depends how many questions you Māori's got, really. But yeah, so without further ado, we'll get on with our presentation and then we'll get into the next part thereafter.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai. Thank you for joining us today for our Ratification Information Hui. We're Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa, the organisation that has represented you, the whānau, hapu and iwi, who whakapapa to the ancestral waka of Tākitimu and Kurahaupō in our negotiations with the Crown to comprehensively settle all historical Treaty of Waitangi claims in this area. This hui is an opportunity to learn more about the settlement Te Tira has negotiated for you. The presentation is approximately 20 minutes long. Following the presentation, you will have the chance to ask questions and discuss the settlement. We have allocated a maximum of 30 minutes for questions and answers. Today, you can also vote on the 3 resolutions, which are outlined on page 6 of the Ratification Information Booklet. If you are not a registered member of Te Tira, you can register and vote today. You'll be able to cast your vote in the provided ballot box at any time throughout the hui. Voting yes will support our settlement and allow us to move forward. We are holding 9 hui across Aotearoa, in Wairoa, Ahuriri, Te Whanganui a Tara, Rotorua, Kirikiriroa, Tāmaki Makaurau, Papaioea, Waihopai and Otautahi. The information presented at each hui is exactly the same and will cover our journey to settlement, the stages involved in negotiating with the Crown and the process to this point. Voting. As beneficiaries, you have the right to decide. In this section, we'll explain how and when you and your whānau can vote. The deed of settlement. As part of the voting, we'll ask you to vote yes to accept the deed of settlement. In this section, we'll look at what's included and what this means for us, ngā iwi me ngā hapu o te rohe o te Wairoa. The settlement package. We'll explain what's included in the settlement, such as financial compensation, cultural acknowledgements, and whenua, as well as the new relationships that will be established with government and council organisations. If our settlement gets the green light, it will become law. So we'll need a new trust to administer and manage our assets. We'll explain more about tātou tātou o te Wairoa and the voting process involved in electing its trustees and agreeing that tātou tātou o te Wairoa Trust be the post-settlement governance entity that will receive and manage redress on behalf of the iwi and hapu of te Wairoa. We'll finish with a question and answer session where you'll have the opportunity to ask any questions you have. We've reached a significant stage in our negotiations with the Crown. Now it's your turn to have a say. We need your vote for the settlement to progress. Te Tira encourages you to vote yes on the following 3 resolutions. I, as a member of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa, accept the deed of settlement for one comprehensive settlement of all historical Treaty of Waitangi claims between the Crown and iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. I agree that the tātou tātou o Te Wairoa Trust be the post-settlement governance entity that will receive and manage redress on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. I agree that the initial trustees of the tātou tātou o Te Wairoa Trust sign the deed of settlement on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa.
We have some beautiful young people and not so young people that have trained as lawyers, accountants, bank managers, etc., etc. People like me, we need to gracefully back out. We've done our job in negotiation. And in this group of people that we have within our rohi of Rongamai Wahine, there are very skilled people that can really help their generations as well in their futures to come. Our rangatahi are here today. They're not the future tomorrow. They are here today. And it would be great to see them come on board and offer the skills, whether in the reo, whether in the culture, whether in the tikanga. We are here to support them, not for them to support us.
The journey to settlement. Treaty of Waitangi claims in our district have a long and significant history dating back to the early 1980s. In 2002, iwi and hapu met and decided that we should work together to progress our claims across the district under the auspices of the Wairoa Working Group. This was the genesis of Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa. In 2009, Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa had its mandate approved, which allowed us to negotiate with the Crown on your behalf. It's taken a lot of hard work, but Te Tira Whakaemi believes we've reached the best deal possible for our iwi and hapu. In May this year, around 50 members of Te Tira travelled to Parliament to initial our deed of settlement. Now, we're in the ratification stage, where we need as many of our people to cast a vote and have a say. If approved and passed into law by Parliament, our new post-settlement governance entity will manage the following stage. This is where we'll receive recognition and have the agreed assets returned to us by the Crown. Voting on the 3 resolutions began on the 15th of July. You need to cast your vote by 5 p.m. Friday, the 26th of August, for it to count. The total number of votes we receive matters, so please vote as soon as possible and help us to spread the message to your whānau to get involved. So how do you vote? By now, you should have received a ratification pack that includes an information booklet and a voting paper. With this voting paper, you can vote in one of 3 ways. Online, by heading to our website, tetirawhakaemi.iwi.nz, and following the instructions. You'll need the PIN number and password located on your voting paper. This is the best method, as there'll be no chance your vote will be lost in the mail. We recommend this method to registered members living overseas also. By voting online, you'll also receive an instant notification when your vote has been received. You can also vote by post. You'll need to fill out the original voting paper you've been supplied, as photocopies won't be accepted. Clearly tick yes or no next to each of the 3 resolutions. Put this in the free post envelope you receive in your pack and post the letter back. Votes posted on the closing date will only be counted if they are received within 3 days, so vote early to avoid missing the deadline. Or, if you have a completed voting paper with you today, you can put this in the ballot box provided. Voting is open to all Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa registered members, including those overseas who are aged 18 and over. For those not registered, we have special voting packs available today that include a registration form to complete at the same time as your voting paper. The voting helpline is also available to call if you need to request a special voting pack, need a replacement voting form, or have any questions relating to the voting process. The entire voting process, including the helpline, is managed by an independent company called Electionz. They are based in Christchurch and have no association to any of our iwi or hapu. This ensures fairness and confidentiality. An independent returning officer has been appointed by Electionz to verify all votes and check each voting paper against the register. For that reason, it's important that you only vote once. Let's now look at the deed of settlement that we've negotiated, which we encourage you to vote yes to. The deed of settlement will fully and finally settle all historical Treaty of Waitangi claims of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. The benefits of the settlement will be available to all members who whakapapa to the ancestral waka of Tāki Timu and Kurahaupo, which is approximately 34,000 of us. If you would like more detailed information about who the settlement is for and the historical claims covered, you can find this on pages 17, 18 and 19 of your information booklet. Let's now look at the deed of settlement. This includes a Crown apology, an agreed historical account, Crown acknowledgements of treaty breaches, a cultural redress offer, and financial and commercial redress. The Crown apology is intended to be a practical and constructive way of addressing the hurt previously inflicted on the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa by the Crown. The apology shows the Crown's desire to move forward and build a new relationship based on the Treaty of Waitangi that will work for our current and future generations. The historical account plays an important part in the Crown's apology, as it's an agreed statement that records our history with the Crown. It includes mentions of war, Lake Waikaremoana and Te Urewera National Park, land purchases, and the resulting consequences, including socio-economic deprivation. It's a statement that took a lot of negotiation, time, evidence, and findings from the Waitangi Tribunal to create. It's important background information that shows why the deed of settlement is necessary. In creating the historical account, the Crown has acknowledged and taken responsibility for a number of historical breaches in relation to the Treaty of Waitangi. This is of course something that we and our kaumātua have fought for a long time and is significant. These acknowledgements are what led us to the redress and compensation that we're about to explain. The cultural redress recognises the traditional, historical and spiritual associations our people have with whenua and sites owned by the Crown in our rohe. The deed grants permission to work alongside a range of organisations to protect, enhance and conserve each of these valued sites. For this to happen, the following working relationships will be established. A relationship between the Wairoa District Council, the Hawke's Bay Regional Council and our newly formed post-settlement governance entity. This will include letters of introduction to both councils. And Te Rohe o Te Wairoa Reserves Board, Mātangi Rau, will work with the Wairoa District Council to administer and manage a mix of their reserves. There will also be a range of relationships with the Ministry of Environment, Department of Conservation, Department of Internal Affairs, and relevant departments in relation to Crown Minerals and Taonga Tūturu protocols. We'll also work with the Hawke's Bay Regional Planning Committee, Te Papa Tongarewa, and the Urewera Board. On top of this, we'll also be able to create a social and economic revitalisation strategy framework for our iwi, led by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and including the Ministries of Education, Health, Social Development, Primary Industries, Te Puni Kōkiri and others. All of our new relationships will help us to look after places that we care about and move forward to a better future. The deed includes detail about specific sites in Te Rohe o Te Wairoa that the Crown has acknowledged we have connections to. Here is a summary of what is included. 5 sites to be returned to us and then gifted back. Kumi Pakarai Conservation Area, Mahia Peninsula Scenic Reserve, Morere Springs Scenic Reserve, Otoki Government Purpose Wildlife Management Reserve, Te Reinga Scenic Reserve Property A. For a complete list of what the sites are and what type of redress applies to each, refer to page 16 of your information booklet. The Crown has also agreed to financial compensation. The total value is $100 million. This is made up of $88,964,250 in cash. The remaining financial package is made up of a 50% share in the Patunamu Forest valued at $2,465,750, a 50% share in Wharerata Forest valued at $3,570,000, and an on-account payment of $5 million. The settlement will also include accumulated rentals from the shares in the forests and interest earned on the entire financial redress. Another form of redress is commercial. There are 24 deferred selection properties. The deed provides our post-settlement governance entity with a right to purchase these properties for a number of months following the settlement date. There are a further 147 properties which, when they are offered for sale, our post-settlement governance entity will have an advantage to purchase. This is called a right of first refusal. The properties are currently held by the Department of Conservation, Housing New Zealand Corporation, Land Information New Zealand, and the Office of Treaty Settlements Land Bank.
We are all aware there will never be the settlement that is required to settle things properly as far as the Tiriti was concerned. That'll never occur, but what we can get through settlement, we look forward to that, to help uplift our people. Me ngā whakahaere wainganui a rātou, whakapakari a rātou marae kāinga, a rātou whenua, ngā mea ka riro mai, ngā mea kaore riro, ka pauriti ngā kau mo te rā. Aku whakaro mo rātou, kia u, kia mau, kia tūtuki rawa, waiho, ngā raruraru wainganui a koutou i te kāinga. Engari, kia tūtuki rawa tēnei mahi, whakawāte a koutou i ngā whakahaere kei mui a koutou. Kia kore, ka me te karauna, ka wiki tōlea ko te karauna.
To settle our claims with the Crown, we also need you to vote yes. I agree that the Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust be the post-settlement governance entity that will receive and manage redress on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. And yes, I agree that the initial trustees of the Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust sign the deed of settlement on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. The trust deed is the legal document that will govern the post-settlement governance entity, or PSGE, our trust, and determine how it will operate to manage the settlement redress. Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa is the PSGE that we've agreed on after much consideration. The Crown has also given its approval for this entity. Once the settlement goes ahead, Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa will receive and administer the settlement redress and any future assets. In the initial 2-year period, the Trust will sign the deed of settlement, follow the review process and consult with representatives of our iwi and hapu in regards to purchasing new assets, follow the work plan agreement when deciding asset ownership, form working relationships for cultural redress sites, maintain records for reporting, and organise and manage initial trustee elections. If you would like more detailed information about the trust deed, you can find this on pages 21 and 22 of your information booklet. Deciding who will be our initial trustees for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa will involve 3 stages. Nominations will take place in September 2016, followed shortly after with voting over 2 weeks. Our chosen initial trustees will be appointed by mid-October, in time to sign the deed of settlement. We, Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa, will hold the initial trustee elections. Registered members of iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa, aged 18 and over, will be able to nominate and vote for the 14 trustees. As a voter, you'll belong to a kāhui, also known as a cluster. 7 hui will be held and you will be able to attend the hui that is for your kāhui. At your hui, you'll be able to elect 2 initial trustees. One trustee is to be ahi kā, and the other trustee non-ahi kā. While we won't be conducting a full postal ballot for these initial trustees, we're going to set up online voting, as well as encouraging as many of us as possible to return to your kāhui meeting. To understand which kāhui you belong to, refer to page 26 of your information booklet. More information about the initial elections will be sent out once the voting for the deed of settlement and trust is complete.
From a personal perspective, I have this belief that the treaty settlement money that is due to us, I have this view that, it doesn't belong to me, but it belongs to those people who are coming behind me. And what I'm referring to is my children, my mokopuna, my cousin's children, his mokopuna, and everybody else who has a connection to this district.
So let's remind ourselves what needs to be voted on. We need you to make a decision on our future by voting on the settlement that we have negotiated. We encourage you as a member of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa to vote yes to the following 3 resolutions. To accept the deed of settlement for one comprehensive settlement of all historical Treaty of Waitangi claims between the Crown and iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. To agree that the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust be the post-settlement governance entity that will receive and manage redress on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. To agree that the initial trustees of the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust sign the deed of settlement on behalf of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. Remember, voting for these 3 resolutions closes 5 p.m, 26th of August, 2016. Once voting closes, we'll be advised if we've received sufficient support. To do this, the Crown takes into account factors such as the number of registered adult members, the percentage of registered members that voted, and the percentage of voters that voted yes. If there's not sufficient support, our settlement will not progress. With this in mind, it's important to realise that now is our time to shape our future for the better. If you have not registered, it's not too late. Please register and vote yes to support our settlement.
Tautoko hia, manakitia tēnei take a tātou. Mō ngā tamariki mokopuna kai te kāre anō kia whānau mai.
ko rātou ngā mea tēno ngā kaunui te ana au kia rātou. The yet unborn, and the potential and the opportunities that it represents for future generations. Yep.
We'll now have questions and answers. Before we do, we have the following ground rules. Please respect others and remain quiet so that their question can be heard clearly. Please identify yourself when you speak, as we have to record your name in our meeting minutes. Please keep questions related to the Deed of Settlement and Trust Deed for our Post-Settlement Governance Entity, PSGE. Nō reira, from all of us at Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa, kia kaha ki te rehita me te pōti. Tēnā tātou katoa. Tātou tātou, Te Wairoa. Let's build a better future for our whānau. Voting is now open on our settlement. Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa is about to hold a series of ratification hui across Aotearoa seeking your vote and your support. To approve the Deed of Settlement and to agree to the roles and responsibilities of our Post-Settlement Governance Entity, Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. We need your vote for our settlement to continue. If you're over 18 and whakapapa to Te Wairoa, then register now to have your say. Go to our website or Facebook page for more information on how to vote. Tātou Tātou, Te Wairoa. And remain quiet so that their question can be heard clearly. Please identify yourself when you speak, as we have to record your name in our meeting minutes. Please keep questions related to the Deed of Settlement and Trust Deed for our Post-Settlement Governance Entity, PSGE. Nō reira, from all of us at Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa, kia kaha ki te rehita me te pōti. Tēnā tātou katoa.
Well, that's our presentation, folks. You know, the information that we've come to talk with you about today. Before we get into question time, a couple of things. Firstly, please make sure that you've signed the attendance register. It's important. It's another one of those Crown imposed processes on us. So they need to know every Māori that's turned up and everyone else that's turned up, who's voted, all the rest of it. They all count in this process that we're going through. Before we get into the questions and answers, I've told you who I am. I'm just going to invite the rest of our representatives to stand. Please, wherever you may be. Have a look around, folks. These people standing are some of our representatives from Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa. Thank you. Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa is the governance group. Te Tira Whakaemi was given the mandate to enter into direct negotiations. We have 28 representatives on our group. The Pākehā would say insane. That's insane. How can you have that many people around the table making a decision? The Māori says that's normal. But as you would have heard in our presentation, we are going to decrease that number in the next stage. But that's Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa, and these people have represented our whānau and our hapu and our iwi in our long journey to date, and put a whole heap of effort into doing that. Besides them, we've also got our technical supporters here, our administration, and also our legal service. If you fella got any legal questions, we've got a lawyer here. She'll tell me what I've got to say here with, there, in, for, art, whatever, all of those questions. But we've been very lucky, we've been supported all the way through the journey. And we've now come to an important part of the journey. So we've been doing all the work, pulling things together, But it's not up to Te Tira Whakaemi to say, I, kao. That's up to you people. It's the beneficiaries. And it's your right to make that decision. It's also your right to ask questions about where we're at. So with that in mind, are there any questions? No? Oh, beautiful. Let's have a cup of tea. At the back there.
Kia ora koutou.
Name, please. Okay, sorry.
My name is Mary Atkins. I'm from Ratification. My question is this. If you as an individual affiliate to more than one kāhui, more than one cluster, do I have to make a decision as to what cluster I'm going to come under, or do I affiliate to all those clusters that I'm with?
Yes. Tikata, as Māori, we whakapapa to many. We don't just whakapapa to one marae. Now tipuna, you know, they were known for going walkies, making babies all over the place. So we have whakapapa to many different hapu and iwi. Unfortunately, this Crown imposed process on us says to us, you have to choose which cluster you primarily whakapapa to, so that you can exercise your right to vote through that cluster for the trustee elections only. So the answer, short answer is yes. But that's an important point, hey? You know, this, people ask all the time, what was the hardest thing to date? And there's two things. Firstly, it's a Crown imposed process. It's not how we as Māori would naturally go through this process. But it's a Crown imposed process on us. And two, more importantly, treaty settlements, we mustn't kid ourselves. They are not fair, they are not just. If they were fair and if they were just, we would be receiving all of the whenua that was taken from us. But they can't do that. Not for land that's now in private hands, te aha, te aha, te aha. So they're political compacts, they're political deals. So a question was asked yesterday, why should we accept the settlement? And our view from Te Tira is quite clear, because it's the best deal we believe we can get. That's what we charged John and our negotiations team with. After we came to the accepting that this is about getting the best deal we can, that was their mandate. Go and secure us the best settlement you can. And we hung strong. The Crown came back to us with two offers. We said, no, no, no. We need more, we need this, we need that. And they pushed and they prodded and they pushed some more, and this is where we've landed. So that's why we think quite clearly, while we should accept this, it's the best deal we think we can get. Kia ora.
Kia ora tātou, ko Keith Hamilton tēnei, no Rangi Aurora hau. My question is really more about the registration process and stuff, and I want to know how robust that is, because I know that I've registered and all my kids have registered, but I've had no notifications for one of them.
Oh yes.
So how many times do we have to register, and how many different ways do we have to register to make sure we count?
Well, I'd say you register 20 times in 20 different ways to make sure you do count. Listen, we've got nothing to hide. We've had trouble getting things up and going because we've had so much to focus on. We started taking online registrations just under a year ago. But we've only been able to start catching up with all of that and validating everything over the last 3 weeks. So yeah, there's been a lot of people coming through on the Facebook and the other avenues saying, look, I registered 6 months ago, but I haven't received any notification. That's going to be that will be happening over the next couple of weeks as we pull all of our systems up to play, got our validation team going, so on and so forth. So they are sitting there, and I would say to you, go, be patient, you will get a notification within the voting period and giving you enough time to vote in the period. There's no conspiracy theory there. We're not funneling them out. Oh, I don't want that funneling. Cool. Any other questions? Or you timid Māoris, you good?
My name's Piri Munro. Te tuatahi tēnā koe John nā haurei I whakatau mai rei a tata. Tēnā koe tāmati, me kira te tira Whakaemi, hui tahi nei, tēnei te mihi atu. My question is more in relation to total registrations and who determines whether it is sufficient in terms of Crown's acceptance.
Yeah. Is there a formula? We don't know. The Crown doesn't tell us. But what the Crown looks at is it looks at a number of factors. The total number of registrations, the total number of votes cast, and then the total number of votes that have said yes. And then they also look at the attendance registers for all of these huis, whole lot of things. What I said yesterday at Puke Muki Muki I think stands true. At the end of that, what it comes down to is political will. Do the ministers feel there is sufficient support? Not thousands, but whatever they might determine sufficient support to be. Is there sufficient support there to give them the confidence to sign off and say, yes, we'll proceed to deed signing?
Supplementary question.
Supplementary?
But just before that question, I'll ask this question first, and that is, where does that 34,000 that came up as part of the presentation actually factor into any of that decision making? And my comment post that is, I appreciate that you also have your day jobs, te tira Whakaemi. You're also doing all that as well.
My wife reminds me about that.
Tika tāna. And I just wanted to acknowledge il koe te wera wera hea, kairunga tēnei haerere, all the effort and the mahi, the sweat that you've put in, aside from keeping your day jobs intact as well. Ka mihi atu.
The 34,000 was, we used, there's a formula which has been utilised around treaty settlements to ascertain how many members there might be of iwi and hapu in a particular area. And so we used that formula which the Department of Statistics has developed to come up with 34,000. As Tamati said, when the Crown looks at the ratification process, there hasn't been a treaty settlement where every one of the beneficiaries of a particular settlement has signed. So if you look at Tainui and Ngaitahu, for instance, when they went through these settlements, they argued they had around 20 to 30,000 members. They grew exponentially after that. In the settlement processes, they would have had maybe a couple of thousand people who voted in total. So the Crown is not expecting us to have 34,000 people voting. But they will want to see that there is a good turnout. They will want to see that people feel that they've got good information, that we've been consistent in how we've provided that information, and most importantly that the majority of the people accept. I don't know the exact breakdown, but we could most probably find that out around recent settlements. But my gut sense is for many settlements, you would be lucky to have 5 to 10% of your total beneficiary base voting. You might say, well, gee, that's quite a bit short of the total. It's mostly indicative of many things. If you look at, generally speaking, we don't vote. Ask anyone who's involved in the general elections or the local body elections, we don't tend to vote. So it's a good point, Petey. It's the 34,000 was important. It was one of the things we used to ramp up our settlement. Part of how we got to the $100 million, well, there were a number of things we had to argue. We had to talk about how much land we'd lost. We had to talk about the nature of the other loss and extent of injury to us. And we also had to give them some general idea of the size of our tribal base, and they took all of those things together. So I wouldn't be worried about the 34,000 as a target we have to meet. So long as we can show that there are hundreds, preferably thousands, of people who come along and vote, that will be sufficient for the Crown. And the other thing is that in that process afterwards, should there be anything in there that they have concerns about, we have an opportunity to talk to them about that as well.
There's an important point in there. 34,000 beneficiaries. What does that mean? That anyone who has whakapapa to the tipuna, to our iwi or our hapu across te rohe o te Wairoa are rightful beneficiaries. You don't have to be living back there to be a beneficiary. If you're a descendant, you are a beneficiary. And this is the other side to that kōrero, and it's something we talked about yesterday. We've got a staunch home base, 34 marae. We argue on the number of hapu every hui. Lots and lots of hapu, lots of iwi. But our people are somewhere else. And this is one of our challenges moving forward post-settlement. We don't expect everyone's going to want to move back to Wairoa, but how do we make those connections? And how do we make them real for our people as we continue to move forward? Further questions? We really are timid.
My question is, would you mind me making a couple of comments?
Statements, yes, we've had lots of statements over our weeks.
Kind of rhetorical question.
That's all right, good.
A couple of things I just wanted to say. First of all, I should just let everyone know that I worked at the Office of Treaty Settlements for about half a dozen years. So I've been around the treaty settlement process and seen the other side of negotiations. And it's in that context I want to take a few minutes just to acknowledge the work of the negotiators specifically and the work of the Tira Whakaemi. I've seen the personal toll that being involved in the treaty settlement process can take on many of the leaders of iwi, and I know that it is not a light toll that it takes. I also know from my experiences with the treaty settlements that the journey is long and it is hard and there are many processes, and I just wanted to congratulate the negotiators for their time, for their effort, for their persistence in coming to the point where they were able to initially leave a settlement with the Crown. That is not a small achievement by any means. As I think about the package which was presented to us today, I also wanted to thank the negotiators for making what I think are a couple of very shrewd moves in your negotiations. I would support the statement made by Tamati that as negotiators this is the best settlement that they think they could get, but I applaud the negotiators for not only getting to the number of 100 million, but for having a lot of flexibility around the way that redress is received. If I understood the numbers correctly, the large majority is coming back as cash, which means there are lots of choices that the post-settlement governance entity can make about how to use those resources for the best benefit of us as an iwi. I'd also like to acknowledge on the cultural redress package, again there's flexibility. I've seen some other settlements where people go after things which actually have quite a large burden on iwi after settlement. So I congratulate you for thinking about the sustainability of the settlement for us as an iwi post-settlement. And the last thing I'd like to mention is the importance of the historical account. I look forward to reading in detail the historical account to understand more about myself and through the lens of the Crown's dealings with Ratification. So my comment really is just one of congratulations and thanks. And to acknowledge in the context of the things that I've seen and the jobs that I've had in the past, of what a difficult task you've had and what a great job you've done. And I look forward to voting this. Thank you.
Scott's just reminded me that, pick back to your earlier question, that this week we're sending out a whole, we should have actually caught up this week with all of our previous registrations from months over the preceding months. So a whole heap of voting packs and registration confirmations are going out this week. If you have registered over preceding months but don't get anything this week, get in touch with us. Get back in touch with us and we'll make sure it happens. Cool? Any other questions? No.
Kia ora tātai. Ko pere mai tai tātou ingo no te manatai. Te taha o taku māma no te kuia o taku tifuna I taku pāpa, te taha o taku pāpa. E te mehi atu kia kōrua. Ko tai mai, ko tau katoa ki tēnei pāhi. Engari he pātai tēnei. Mō aku makupuna kei ahi Tereria e nohana. Me te hea rātau. Me te he e pirangi e rātau. He mohiwai e koutou kia rātau.
Kia ora. Well, that's an important question, because when you look at that 34,000 base, that's 34,000 base. It's not Hawke's Bay, it's not New Zealand, it's global, because that's where our people are now. They're global. And so again, the same thing pertains. It doesn't matter where you live. As a beneficiary, you still are part of the settlement. So the mokopuna, whānau overseas, we're encouraging everyone to reach out to them and for them to register online. It's the easiest way for them to do it, through te tira whakaemi.iwi.nz. Register online. They can also vote online. So they are still part of it. But that is the bigger challenge moving forward. How do we reach out to as many of our people constantly? Because those mokopuna, and amongst them, have got skill sets. They got things that they can help us with into the future, and vice versa. So not just for this period, we're going to need all of our people. That's all we can say. We're streaming now, we're streaming all of our, see, we're getting really good with technology, hey? We live streamed it on Friday, there was 50 on watching that. We live streamed it last night. Not too many people watching last night, I wonder why. Funny on the non-rugby night, oh! Anui te mātaki mai. Any other questions?
Can I add something to you? Sorry. A couple of things, and mainly because I got asked this question myself. I got asked quite bluntly a few months ago, was our treaty settlement just about money? You know, is that what it was all about? And I can honestly and faithfully say to you it was never about that, actually. The money was a means to an end. The end for us is the reconstitution of our ability to look after ourselves, to be able to turn our aspirations and the things we want to do into a reality, to give us a base, a resource base from which to do that. And I think it's really important that I say that in front of you. I'm not saying that to curry favours, but this was not, in the first instance, about trying to get money. This was about looking at the state of our communities, looking at the state of our people, recognising that the government made some promises on the 6th February 1840 to our people, amongst others, about looking after us and providing for our development, and they fell short of that. The treaty settlements process was about holding them to account for that, to making them to account for that, and then getting to the other side of that to say, and what do we need to move forward so that we are able to reconstitute ourselves and our ability to look after ourselves, which was one of the fundamental promises of the treaty. One of the fundamental promises of the treaty was that we would have the ability to live as Māori, to live as people from Te Wairoa, to live as iwi and hapu, and have our organisations and our structures and our things that are important at front and centre, and to be able and to be fostered with our partners, the Crown, to be able to do that. And I don't need to tell you that they fell far short of that mark. But this, it's important, you know, it was never about the money per se. It was about our ability to be able to look after and provide for ourselves, and to give ourselves and our mokopuna and our children some ability to build things for themselves. Because one of the things about the treaty settlement process is it's a very negative process. There's a lot of pain, hurt, and we had to go through that, and that's a very important part of it. You know, as that statement from Tamti said up there earlier in the presentation, we made some undertakings to some people of ours 30, 20 odd years ago. Many of them are long since gone now, to try and get to the other side of this, to make ourselves, put ourselves in a position where we were able to look after ourselves. So I think that's an important point. The second important point, which the Tira Whakaemi has already agreed, is that there's a lot of work we have to do around planning over the next 2 to 3 years. That planning will be making sure that we're in contact with all of our membership. This is only the beginning of starting to register people to become part of our beneficiary base. We have to do this all the time. It's only the beginning of our journey to look at what we need to get on the other side.
And in doing that, Te Tira Whakaemi has agreed that those first 2 years are critical. We need to be talking with our people more, not less, and we need to develop a plan. We're not going to be going running around the place spending money without a plan. The most important thing is to engage in a plan and to make sure that we take our people along in that planning process, and that's you. So the kōrero we're having with you today about ratification and signing our settlement, that's the beginning of a journey for us now to develop things. We've now resolved and sorted out our issues with the Crown. We've sorted that out in terms of getting some remuneration. The next journey is our developmental journey. And I look forward, along with all of you, to seeing what we're going to build. And I'm really excited by that we will have the ability, the capacity and capability to build things, to not be the passive recipients of government policy, which often falls short of what we need. And for those of us who live in the Wairoa area, you'll know that the services we get from government are hopeless. But that's actually part of what our people experience all over the place. So that planning period in the first 2 years is really critical. So we're going to be talking with you more, not less. So this is not oh, we're going to come and talk to you and then it's all over. This is only the beginning of the journey. And it's a journey, my final point, it's a journey you all have to hold us to account for. We are accountable to you. I'm not accountable to me, I'm accountable to you. And the benefits and the developments that we foster in the future will be from you. And you will hold us to account for those things. And it's really important that you hold us to account and you make sure you're part of that guiding and development. Kia ora koutou.
There's salient messages in there. It's one of the next parts of that journey, and finding our trustees for the next leg of this journey is going to be important. We can't emphasise enough that we need good skill sets for both our ahika representatives, who I feel a bit of aroha for, because they expected to have just the same skill sets as our non-ahika, but they're also holding the home fires on top of that, eh? So we're looking for 14 trustees to get through this interim period. We've started practicing and bringing young people back home with certain skill sets and getting them involved, and that's the challenge moving forward, to continue to do that. Bringing the skill sets to the table who are going to lead us into the future. Very important part of this journey. Any other questions? Yeah.
Kia ora tātou, Justine Timoana Nui Makirerea Hau. Just wanted to know where Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Exec is in part of this whole piece of mahi.
They're not. They're not part of this mahi. There's, Ngāti Kahungunu had the foresight a number of years back after the foreshore and seabed settlement and the fallout from that settlement amongst our people, had the foresight at that time to say, well, we are going to leave the treaty settlements up to the hapu in iwi to deal with directly. So across Ngāti Kahungunu you have 6. This is an untold story. You're very clever people, you know, Ngāti Kahungunu, very clever people. So across Ngāti Kahungunu whānui we have Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairarapa ki Tāmaki Nui a Rua, He Toa Takitini, Mana Ahuriri, Maunga Haruru ki Tangitu, Ngāti Pāhauwera and ourselves. And between those 6 groups, $500 million worth of settlements. That's a great untold story. Might be something Ngāpuhi could learn from, eh? You don't have to do, you know, we were clever. We were clever. The Crown said large natural groupings. The Crown envisaged one Ngāti Kahungunu whānui settlement. We said it's not going to happen. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of claims across Ngāti Kahungunu alone. So what we quickly done, when we had those early hui, was organise ourselves into large natural groupings that we were comfortable with. And that's been the result. So Nikki are not part of this journey, but we are collectively in discussions with Ngāti Kahungunu talking about our future and what that might look like. Kia ora. No other questions? You're ngingy from watching rugby last night, getting up at 5 a.m. watching the Chiefs this morning, I know.
Not the women.
Thank you, Tira. No other questions? Well, look, we're not going to hold you here to Sunday. A couple of key things. It's really important that we get as many of our people as possible registered and voting. It's important for us that our people exercise their right to have their say. So we implore you all to become our foot soldiers and reach out to your whānau, wherever they might be, Australia, America, Europe, wherever, and get them to come online and register and vote. We've got a 6-week voting period. We deliberately made that long to give as many people as possible the opportunity to vote. So that's the first thing. Encourage our people to register and vote. Secondly, we encourage you all to go online at either at our website or OTS, or go into any of the regional Te Puni Kōkiri offices and have a look at the deed of settlement and the PSGE trust deed, so you can understand the detail of all the things we're looking at. I'll remind you all, it's a political settlement. It's not perfect, and it in itself is not going to transform our lives, but in reconfiguring our relationship with the Crown, us concentrating on creating better opportunities, them concentrating on delivering their services to our people in better ways, those things combined, along with bringing in the right skill sets, will leave us in a better place for the future. So that's another important thing. So those are our key messages. I want to thank you all for coming along today. It's really good to see you all. We've had excellent turnouts over our last couple of weeks. Next weekend, we're going to be in Rotorua, Hamilton and Auckland. So get on the huta to your whānau up the line and encourage them to come along, ask questions and all the rest of it as well. Nō reira nei rā te mihi a te tira whakaemi o te Wairoa kia tātou, tātou kia tātou. I tēnei wā, kaoti tēnei wāhanga, we've got a cup of tea and coffee over there and some muffins. Some muffins. That's all you Māori need. Don't need big kai. Trying to break out of this thing off, we judge our hui by the amount of kai. Ko te kōrero a ngā rangatira, ko te kai a te rangatira, he kōrero. But we have a paku timo. I really encourage you all to move around and introduce, meet the representatives. Have a talk with them about what's happening on the ground back home, anything you want to know, you know, and all the other things, all the non-treaty matter stuff as well. Ka pai tātou? Okay, hei whakakapi I tēnei wāhanga, kia tuku I tētai paku karakia, ka himene tātou, ne? Kia tātou katoa, ko te ata whai o tō tātou a riki a Ukraiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga taitanga ki te Wairoa tātou, ake. E ua whakapai ngenei kai hei oranga mō mātou tīnana whangai a hoki o mātou Wairoa ki te taro o te ora. Hui Ukraiti hui tō mātou kai whakaora. Āmine. Tūtira mai ngā iwi, tātou e. Tūtira mai ngā iwi, tātou e. Oi a te maramatanga, me te aroha e ngā iwi, kia putakotahi, kia kotahira. Tātou e, tātou e. Kia ora, mauri ora kia tātou. Ka pu tea.
Let's build a better future for our whānau. Voting is now open on our settlement. Te Tira Whakaemi o Te Wairoa is about to hold a series of ratification hui across Aotearoa seeking your vote and your support. To approve the deed of settlement and to agree to the roles and responsibilities of our post-settlement governance entity, Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. We need your vote for our settlement to continue. If you're over 18 and whakapapa to Te Wairoa, then register now to have your say. Go to our website or Facebook page for more information on how to vote. Tātou Tātou, Te Wairoa.